Welcome back to Sandra Sells Tells, Real Estate, Real People, Real Plymouth. I'm your host, Sandra Smith, and today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, what's really happening in our local real estate market. There are plenty of headlines out there telling us what the market is doing, but real estate is not local. That's why I've invited a special guest to join us today. Scott Beane is the regional manager for the Southeast Coast region of Gibson Sotheby's International Realty, overseeing agents and markets across the South Shore, South Coast. And Scott has a unique perspective on what buyers, sellers, and agents are experiencing right now. Today, we're going to talk about current trends, opportunities, challenges, and what people should know if they're thinking about making a move. So grab your coffee, take the dog for a walk, or settle into your commute. Let's dive into today's market update with Scott Beane. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today.
I know, we're excited to have you.
Excited to be here. I listen every week.
Even better. Shout out. Very good. So if you had to describe today's real estate market in one word, if you can, what would it be?
It's hard to choose one word, but if I were looking for Massachusetts and in our region specifically, I would say pretty stable, leaning more towards a balanced market.
I like that. Stable. It's very good. I had probably 3 people this weekend ask me, how's it going? What's the real estate market? And my word was steady. Because I feel like
great.
This year has been
Absolutely.
steady and stable are about the same.
Absolutely.
So good to hear that my power above me agrees with me on that. I answered it right. Okay. So would you say there's a big misconception for buyers right now?
I guess there's a few misconceptions. I think one of the biggest ones is that it's a buyer's market. It's not. I mean, we're leaning more towards a balanced market, which is great for buyers, but it is still the sellers who are controlling, obviously, the inventory. Inventory starting to increase a little bit now, not huge, but enough so that the buyers have more choices. But prices are still high, especially if we look really hyper-local, which is real estate, as you know. Everything is hyper-local. It could depend on the town, it can depend on the community and an individual neighborhood within that community. But yeah, I think it's probably the biggest misconception is they can walk in, demand anything they want, they're going to get it right away.
And that does not happen.
Does not.
What would you say is the biggest misconception sellers have right now?
That time will get them what they want, when it will not. Typically, your best and cleanest offers come in the very early part of listing the property. The longer you're on, probably the less money you're going to get and the less attractive the terms are going to be.
Very true. Very true. So what are you seeing in Plymouth and the South Shore markets right now?
So it's interesting because if you back up a little bit, you hear a lot in the media coverage about how it is leaning more towards buyers and it's not the same as it was maybe 6 months ago. But for us in New England and Massachusetts, and even more specifically South Coast and South Shore, we're fortunate to live in these New England coastal communities, which tend to be on the higher end of the price point side and the shorter time and market time and have a more receptive market. We're still seeing that. So on average, Massachusetts is about 27 days to market. And within our community, within Plymouth, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit longer when you break it down by single families or by condos. And this is all year to date as of today. Single families are about 38, condos are about 60 days. So condos are a little slower than single family. But even with single family, 38 days is pretty short.
That's true. That's true. That was kind of like one of my next questions, like what types of homes are selling the fastest? So we know it's not condos.
Some condos. It depends on where they are in the condition. But I would say with anything, it's property. It's location and property. Condition. So it is location and condition. If you have a house that has problems, it has some issues, it's going to sit a little bit longer. It's not going to get as much. But we do have properties going with multiple offers. You know, in that sweet spot of price points in Plymouth between 500 and 800 or 900,000 for single family. If it's in great condition, hasn't been on long and doesn't need a lot of maintenance and a lot of upkeep, it goes pretty quickly.
That's very true. And you're right on the money about that with, getting multiple offers. If it's mint condition, perfect everything and location, it is. And anything between 500 and 800 tends to go quicker than some of the others, but
may not get 30 offers like I was getting back in COVID days or post-COVID, but a few.
Yeah, I mean, I have a buyer under agreement now, and we were up against 2 other ones, you know, and then there was one that was a higher price point, but it was the location, and the house was in mint condition, and we were up against 5 others. So you don't know.
Right.
It's a lot is the location, the condition,
and is there something unique about it?
Looking for?
Is there something really special that's not out there anywhere else in the marketplace?
Yeah, very true. Do you think buyers are finding opportunities right now?
I do. I think if they can look to those lower price points, if they can look to something that might need a little bit of work or might need some TLC to it, there are definitely those opportunities out there. They're not necessarily as popular with most of the buyers that are looking around. If you can go outside of those incredibly popular neighborhoods, go on the outskirts a little bit.
It's true. That's
Because
true.
that will definitely, those outskirt neighborhoods or those outlier neighborhoods definitely rise with the rest of it.
Yeah.
And we see that over time. We've seen many neighborhoods in our area that even where I live and born, that was not necessarily a higher end market 10 years ago when I bought there, but now the average price has doubled, sometimes tripled. So
True. And it's a nice little like hidden gem where you're at too.
exactly.
Little private beaches around there. So a lot of
Absolutely.
people are looking for opportunities like that and to be close to that. So would you say that the interest rates are affecting buyers today?
I wouldn't say as much as they were. I think
Agreed.
we have gotten past that initial hump of I can't go anywhere because my interest rate is so low. People have life events that don't stop because interest rates aren't changing.
Oh, very well said.
They have to move. They have their family is growing, or they get a new job, or they're relocating, or they're downsizing. Those life situations do not stop. So I think that has helped people to get over that hump initially. They've also kind of leveled off. They're not as high as they used to be. They're still pretty manageable.
I also agree with that as well too. So, what do you say to someone who's saying, "I'm waiting for the rates to come down"?
I say don't.
Yes, yes,
I say
yes.
I say talk to a professional, talk to
Yeah,
your realtor, talk to a licensed mortgage professional through your realtor. Figure out what that cost is going to look like. If you wait because you want the rates to come down, the property values are still going up.
yeah.
You look in Plymouth and Plymouth County, it's anywhere from 4 to 8% increases just year to date this far.
Wow.
So you're waiting for an interest rate to come down maybe a quarter of a point over the next 20 to 25 years, when on average, you're not going to stay there that long
Yeah.
anyways.
And while you're waiting, the house price is going up.
Exactly.
So, you see a house you like
Do
and you
it.
can afford it,
Do it.
make a move. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, what would you say the biggest mistakes that sellers are making right now?
Again, time, thinking they have time,
Yeah.
overpricing. If you overprice your property, you will sit. And then you will
Very
not
true.
get as much as you could have gotten if you were priced it appropriately from the start. I mean, you see this all the time, I'm
Yeah.
sure, too. You talk to people and you show them what it really should be. And like, well, I need to get this. What you need is not necessarily what the buyers are going to pay you. Buyers are going to
Exactly.
pay you what it's actually worth.
Yes. And don't listen to the online sources or trust them. They have not been in your home.
Please don't.
And to your neighbors, and I know everyone knows their house is better because of everything that they've done to it,
Mhm.
but trust the professional, trust the agent that you've brought in.
Trust the professional and trust them to look at it with a disinterested viewpoint so they can step
Yep.
back and take the emotion out of it a little bit and understand what a buyer is going to be looking for.
Yeah.
You may love that orange lime green paint that you used in the study or the bathroom 10, 15, 20 years ago, but that is not going to help to sell your house. So understand the perspective that a real estate professional is coming from and listen to that advice for them and prepping it as well.
Excellent advice. I do tell, sellers that are getting ready to move that, 80% of people don't have vision. They come in and they
Mhm.
see your things or they see projects. And if
Right.
they don't like your color paint choices because they're bold,
Yeah,
even though bold is coming back a little bit,
it is.
it doesn't mean that person's going to like it. And they're looking at it as a chick-ching, I'm going to have to take care
Mhm.
of that,
And
even
bold,
if it's,
and bold is coming back in the right property, and the
that's
wrong
correct.
style of a house, it's not necessarily working to their favor. So
Correct. What trends do you see for the rest of 2026? We're halfway through the year.
yeah, I wish I knew.
I know. Amen.
We
Where's our
would,
crystal
yeah,
ball?
we would not be sitting here.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
I think, well, we're almost in fall market.
That's
I think
crazy to think about. No,
it is
I
nuts.
need more summer.
Crazy, yeah. I think people don't understand the cycles of the real estate market.
Right.
People think spring market is really March, April, and sometimes in May. It's really not. It starts in January for us. That's when spring really starts with evaluating properties and talking to people. I think now we're getting into fall market. We're almost there. Although summer was extended quite a bit this year because schools were let out so late because of our
Yeah.
horrible winter. Knock on wood, hopefully we don't go through that again this year. I think we will kick in probably after the first couple of weeks of August. We'll start to kick in more with fall market.
Okay. Good.
I don't see any radical shifts for Massachusetts, and I'm not giving any trade secrets or anything because I think everybody would say the same thing. Our values are very stable, and they have been for quite a long time.
Right. Other parts of the country, not so much.
Not
but
so much, yeah.
Massachusetts has stayed stable with their pricing. So, what should buyers do now if they plan to move in the next year?
They should talk to a professional.
Yep.
line all their ducks in a row. Don't take any big loans. Don't take any big credit cards. Don't buy any major purchases. Don't do anything until you talk to not only a realtor, but a licensed mortgage professional. They can tell you, what do you need to do financially to prepare in order to be in the best position possible?
Yeah, that's excellent advice. I sold a condo to a first-time buyer a couple years ago, and now he's thinking of selling. And I said, your first step is let's call the lender and see
Yep.
like what's your new price point,
Absolutely.
is now the right time? And, they got excellent advice. They're like, we need to sit for a couple more months before we make this next step. So, you might think you're ready, but your dreams are ready, but reality might not be quite ready. And that's why we talk to the professionals. And if you don't know one, ask a seasoned real estate agent to recommend you to one. You can get a couple of, opinions on that, but it's worth looking into, doing your homework now before that.
And doing homework is interesting because now buyers and sellers now are starting with AI. So they start doing their research on AI.
Yes, they do.
Which you know quite well. So it's an interesting perspective because I think it's great that our consumers are so much more educated now than they ever were back when I started 24 years ago. I think it's wonderful that they have these tools available to that. I urge caution.
Caution is a key word.
Great way to
AI.
go in. Yep. Great way to go in educated, to ask the right questions and really understand what that process is and what the best thing is for you, but also understand that an algorithm does not know you as a person and does not know that property from being inside of it or from being in that neighborhood. It can't attach a value to a premium neighborhood because they understand what makes up that community and what makes up that group of
They're
properties
only
that are there.
looking at facts that are online.
And I ran one through AI just a couple of weeks ago. I ran some pictures through just to see what it would do. And the pictures are gorgeous. I've been in the house. It's not that gorgeous. So it had attached a value of a certain amount to it when it really was not in the condition, or it didn't have everything that it needed to in order to command that highest value. It should have come in a little bit lower.
Interesting.
But AI was telling like 50 to 75,000 higher. It's like, well, you're not taking the other things into consideration because you're not a human. You don't actually look at it that way.
Yes. They have not walked in the house like that. I just recently spoke to an agent whose buyers, he counseled them on what to make the offer that was up against multiple offers, but they were sticking to what AI told them.
Yeah.
And they did not get it.
It's not always right.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be correct.
They've not been in the market. They don't know the location. They don't know the condition of the house. But so good advice. I'm going to ask you a couple one-word answers.
Sure.
Waterfront or golf course?
Waterfront.
Oh, yes. You can never go wrong. You never lose your value.
Never lose your value. And I don't know how to play golf, so.
Oh, okay. So that's for you personally. But I think more people would take waterfront over.
Definitely waterfront.
Yeah, okay.
Golf communities are popular. Sorry, it's not a one-word answer, I know.
That's okay.
Golf communities are popular.
Yes.
But waterfront is always popular.
Yeah. All right. Fixer-upper or move-in ready?
In this market, the better opportunity is a fixer-upper.
It's the better opportunity, but most people want move-in ready.
Most people want move-in ready.
Yeah. Condo or single family?
This market, single family. Again, better opportunities, probably condos if you're looking for a starter property, something a little bit of a lower price point, a little more competitive.
Some people are afraid of HOAs.
Some of them are. And then watch your documents, read it very carefully, and do your research. Let your agent or your representative work for you on that.
Buy now or wait?
Now.
No. I like
Always
it,
now. That's an easy one word.
What is the average price point for our area? We're in Plymouth, Massachusetts, by the way. So what's Plymouth? I know is different from give me one of your other towns that you manage.
So I have Hingham, Cohasset, Plymouth, and Dartmouth. Hingham, way over Plymouth, probably double for the single family. Single family in Plymouth, that just in the last 10 years alone has skyrocketed.
Amen. So
if you look at year to date so far, I have some stats here for you too. So Plymouth County overall is pretty close to Plymouth as a town. Plymouth as a town, single family average sale price was $881,000 year to date.
Oh, that's Plymouth County?
Crazy. Plymouth Town.
Plymouth Town is 800? I thought it was in the 600s.
So it was until you pull in June and July. When you start pulling in June and July, I know it was crazy. This changed so quickly.
That's insane.
Keep in mind it's year to date. It will, once we run August numbers, that will reflect down a little bit as well. And you've got some really high price points that sold in the last 45 days. Some very high waterfront properties sold, which kind of skew the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, true.
But if you look at the county overall, it's still about 800. It's a little lower. It's 842. Condos for Plymouth, you're looking at about 550, 560.
That's true.
Which seems more normal when we start to think about the projects we know around town. That seems more realistic. I do think your skewed price points in that single family were those larger waterfront homes that sold for 3, 4, 5 million.
All right. Fun facts. I
Yes.
like it. Anything else you want to tell us before I end with my key of the week?
I think the biggest piece is just trust your professionals, talk to your professionals, do your research, and take your time. Don't rush.
Excellent, excellent advice. So I always end mine, as you know, a key of the week for what we can do, but I thought I'm going to switch it up and surprise you and have you give us a key of the week since you know the market so well. So what is your key of the week for our listeners?
All right. So this week it is the best time to make a move is when it makes sense for your family, not when your neighbor thinks it should.
Oh, I like it. Very well. Very well. Yeah. The best time to make a move is when it's right for your family, not your neighbor, not other people. Your family.
Don't listen to your neighbors.
I like it. Exactly. So, Scott, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
Thanks for having me.
Super knowledgeable. I love working under Scott because he is so knowledgeable and I can call him at any time and he will walk me off the ledge, talk me off the ledge.
Or jump off with you if
and
we're
jump
there.
off with me. But he's always full of like great advice and direction. So that's why I wanted to have you on here because you're super knowledgeable of the real estate market. So I appreciate you being on here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here.
I hope if one thing our listeners take away is that while the market conditions may change, good advice never goes out of style. Whether you're buying your first home, downsizing, upsizing, investing, or simply curious about what's happening in our local communities, having the right information can make all the difference. And remember, real estate isn't just about houses. It's about people, families, goals, and finding the place that fits your next chapter. Thank you for listening to Sandra Sells Tells. Real estate, real people, real Plymouth. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who might find it helpful. Until next time, I'm Sandra Smith, and as always, keep making informed moves and building the life you love.